Hello everyone, this is a tutorial for using a tribute domain in data entry in ArcGIS 10 for photo interpretation. The following steps are optimized and recommended after practice on 100 polygons. So first of all, we need to start a project, start ArcGIS 10. To create an attribute domain, we first need to have a geodatabase. To create a geodatabase, right-click the folder you want to put the database, select New, File Geodatabase. I have created one, so let's use this one. In the geodatabase, load the layer needed for interpretation. Right-click the geodatabase, select Properties. In the Domain tab, you create domains. I have one domain LC correct created here, but we can try to create a new one. Type in LC correct in domain name. In description, type in LC correct, the same thing, or you can type in the description. In the field type, we select text, domain type, coded value, split policy, duplicate. This is used when a feature is split into two. Then the split features will duplicate the original values. Okay, then coded value. Here in the code, put in the Landcover class, which I can copy from class description. For example, water. Copy and paste here. You can paste the same thing in description. Like this, we copy all the Landcover class in the code, and the values here is physically recorded in the attribute table. It's recommended to arrange the values here alphabetically. It will be easier for operator in editing. A domain enforces a set of value here in data entry. And a domain set up in a geodatabase can be multiple. You can create multiple domains here. And the domain can be used in multiple feature class in a geodatabase. Alright, now we have our domain created. Next, we should associate the domain with feature class. Okay, in digitize layer, right-click, select property, and in the view tabs, find LC correct, and select the domain of LC correct here, and leave the default value empty. Okay, and in the point layer, do the same thing. In LC correct, select the domain LC correct, and in the point layer, we have a field named code, and the code value defaultly set it 0 because in most of the cases, a new point created in the point layer is used to record the proper paths, whose value should be 0. Okay. Then in the poly layer, do the same thing. Select the LC correct, select the domain, leave the default value empty. Okay. In the photo interpretation, we will need 4 layers. Digitize, point, poly, and block all. And I will load the block all layer from a different location, like here. And because block all is used for referencing of neighbor, we do not need to modify the boundary of the neighbors. So to avoid mistake operation, it's better to put it in a different folder, because when the editing is on, these 3 layers in one folder will be editable. Alright, let's set up the symbology of the layers. Okay, we put the digitize layer at the top. Put it at the top, you will see the benefit when the editing is on. Okay, make the layer hollow. 2 and set it red. Okay. And point, make it a little bigger, A, and purple, and we put the block all underneath. Okay, poly, 2, yellow, okay, and block all, color, 1, because it's only for neighbors, green, okay, nice. Now turn on the data-driven page by right-click here and ArcGIS, Google Image, Google Map, and Editor. Okay, we arrange 3 toolbar here. In data-driven page, we need to set up first enable and select poly instead of digitize, because poly contain a complete set of samples, but digitize might contain some of the polygons might be deleted later. So poly, and field name, object ID, sorted field, object ID, click OK. So there you go. This is the number 27 polygons. Data-driven page will browse through and zoom in each polygons in the attribute table. Alright, in the editor, select option. In the attribute tab, check display the attribute dialogs. With this option, when a new feature is created, attribute dialog will prompt. Okay, now turn on the attribute tables. Point layer, poly. Okay, in the attribute table, in the digitize, we freeze object ID, freeze LC correct. Right click, freeze. Alright, and in point layer, freeze the LC correct and freeze core. In poly, we freeze the object ID and LC correct, because these are the fields we are going to use. In digitize, we switch to the select view. There's one more thing to set up, that is open the Prezi flowchart here and zoom in the highlighted area here, because this is the part designed to simplify the operation for operator. And for example, in scenario A, the operator need to do 2 things in 2 layers. In scenario B, the operator needs to do 4 things in 2 layers. In scenario C, you need to do 1 thing in 1 layers. It's recommended to put this flowchart on a side in another monitor, so in case after a couple polygons your mind get messy, then it can always remind you and give you some tips what you should do. In this on your side, you will be less likely to make mistake. Oh, there's one more thing. We need to show the neighbors. So right click block all, properties, and labels, find labels, and check labels, description, and make it 10, size 10, and the color is green. Click OK. There you go. These are the neighbors. Now we can turn on the Google image by clicking this button in ArcGIS. Select the hybrid layer. We need to turn on the Google image before editing, because in the editing mode, the Google image will not reproject into the layers. Now we can see the layers here. Now we can start editing. Select OK. On the right side, you have create feature panels here, and you have the template for editing. If you don't see this template, you can click this button and new template. You select the layer you are missing. Okay. Now we want to show the attribute table also. So let me demonstrate some examples from scenarios. For example, polygons 442, enter and select. There you go, there's a digitized layer here selected. We put digitized layer on top, so in the drop down list here, we first select digitized layer. This is what we want. And the attribute here is in the attribute table. Object ID LC correct is put on the top because we freeze them in the attribute table, and this in the selected view. This is the feature selected. Let's examine the polygons. Zoom in and zoom out and see its neighbors. All invisible the neighbors. You have a bigger picture of the surroundings, and then you get the neighbor backs. You see this polygon is homogeneous from the surroundings. It looks like it belongs to this big piece of grassland. I decided to put it in a scenario A. Let's look at the flowchart, what we do in scenario A. We need to delete the polygon in digitize and type in LC correct in poly layer. Okay, so delete, right click, we select it again, is the poly layer. In the poly layer, we need to type in LC correct. Okay, here's the cool thing. You have a drop down list in LC correct. You find grassland. And in the attribute table, you can check the LC correct has grassland here. And you can do it either in the attribute table or in the attribute dialog. Okay, this polygon finish. Let's go to a second example from scenario B, which is polygon 346. Enter. Okay, this is the polygon 346. We zoom in and out and see the surroundings. Okay, it looks like this is a cut log and some trees growing back. And you want to see the neighbors. This is on the left side is coniferous. On the right side also coniferous dense. On top there's a mixed wood. Okay, so it looks like this park is should belong to the polygon. Now we select the polygon, digitize layer here, and reshape it. Clicking this button, reshape. The snap environment is on. You can snap this point, and we want to connect here. For example, the environment snap to edge is on, so you can snap here. And then click finish. There you go, and the new boundary is created. Now, what else you need to do in scenario B? Let's look at flowchart. Scenario B, you type in LC correct in digitize and create a point in point layer and fill in the LC correct. Okay, so right now this new boundary is created, and in the LC correct, choose probably mixed wood. Open. Okay, create a new point. First select the template point, and you will have an arrow here. Click. There you go. There is a dialog prompt when you create a new feature. LC correct is freeze at top of the attribute table. We find mixed wood here, LC correct. Open. And code defaultly is 0 because it's a proper path. Click OK. Alright, finish. Let's give one more example from scenario C. Polygon 577, enter. Zoom in and zoom out. you will see these pieces of land looks like grassland, and the surrounding are dense conifers. You wonder, do you need to create a new boundary from here to the true boundary? But from the measurement is only like 50 meters, and from here is also about 50. The threshold distance is 50 meters, so I think I should leave it like this. So that's scenario C. Let's look at what we do in scenario C. Only type in the LC correct and digitize. Alright, select. Let's close this ruler. Select the feature and digitize. In LC correct, you find grassland. Okay, that's it. You're done. Save and save the project. There are more examples worthy to demonstrate, but this video is mainly for demonstrating attribute domain in attribute table with a drop-down list. In the first half of the image interpretation, I do it very slowly because I want to optimize the steps and process. But in the second half, I do it very quick and smooth. So I think this method is very useful. But I'm welcome for feedback and criticism. Please put your comments. Thank you for watching.